Tactical Guy 1 from the YouTube world, making this video because I want everyone to know that there's a difference between knowing your rights and not knowing your rights. And that can actually mean you sitting in jail or you being a free person. If you write a writ of habeas corpus because your right to speedy trial has been violated, that will trigger certain things that will happen in court to the point where eventually you will be a free person. On the other hand, you can simply wait and just see what happens, like this person did.
In 3 years, you could get a law degree, build an Olympic stadium, start a family, or you could sit in jail, just like Ralph Berry did. Despite the constitutional right to a speedy trial, justice is slow in the US, and it's even slower in the Bronx. So slow, in fact, that if you're accused of a felony here, you can be expected to wait for between 3 and 5 years for a trial. Well, Ralph was a kid from the Bronx. He played ball, went to school, spent time with his family.
He got the cool goals.
Then one day, all that changed.
I get a knock on my door. It's detectives. He asked me what's my name. When I said my name, Ralph Berry, they just jumped at me. And we go down to the precinct. Then one cop came in and he asked me, what was I doing that day? What did I do? Who was I with? He said, you don't look like the type of kid that like to get in trouble, and you don't look like the type of kid that can survive jail life. So we do us a favor and we do you a favor. I'm like, I don't know what y'all talking about. I can't help y'all. The only thing I can do is help myself, and I'm telling y'all I had nothing to do with what y'all telling me.
Police accused Ralph of shooting a guy outside a nightclub in the Bronx and put him in jail. But Ralph says he had nothing to do with it. He was offered a plea deal, but Ralph insisted he was innocent. Actually, police found DNA evidence that proved he was innocent 2 days after he was arrested. But instead, Ralph waited and waited and waited for a trial.
Me being in there, I just missed out on so much.
Every couple of months, Ralph would be transported to the courthouse for an appearance, and then back to the jail.
So every day I come to court, I'm praying, thinking, hopes up, I'm going home. Like, that's how I feel, I'm going home.
That happened 21 times, and 15 of them were because the prosecutor wasn't ready to proceed.
I'm gonna say that it's like they don't care how long you sit up on Rikers Island for.
The Bronx is a court system in crisis. It doesn't have even close to the resources it needs to solve the basic problems of providing justice to 2 million people.
If you're accused of a felony in the Bronx, good luck.
Right now, waiting in jail for that long doesn't offend because we have 4-year-old cases waiting for trial, and we have some 5-year-old cases waiting for trial.
The state of New York considers a speedy trial one that happens within 6 months. Right now, there are 397 people in jail who have been waiting over 2 years for their trial in the Bronx. Why? It's kind of like a traffic jam.
We're short judges, we're short court officers, correction officers, elevators to move in. We have a short doorway. We have a shortage of interview pens. 500 inmate space a day. 2-hour wait to see your client. When he's produced, it doesn't work.
The New York State Judiciary admitted there's a serious problem in the Bronx, and they've sent in a team of judges to fix it. The chief judge, who incidentally refused to give us an interview, says the backlog has been reduced from 4,755 to 3,880. So they might have reduced the felony waits, but the problem's just shifted. And now, thousands of people are waiting for misdemeanor trials.
We had an enormous felony backlog for years, so that we changed our focus on felony trials. Now you can't get a misdemeanor trial to save your life.
The Bronx is a preview of what could be the future of the US state judicial system. Governments around America have cut court funding sometimes up to 65%. The delay issue is spreading all over the country.
When we're not investing in our courts and when we're not investing in our public defender system, cases linger and justice isn't being done.
But finding out how these budget cuts have affected the courts is next to impossible. No one keeps track of court delays nationally. We were able to find out this. California, Utah, Mississippi, Illinois, most of their cases are cleared in under a year. Texas, not so good. Arizona doesn't compile state data, and Alabama, Florida, Georgia don't collect any data on trial wait times at all. And that brings us to Louisiana. The average time between felony arrest and trial in one area there is 501 days.
When states aren't providing courts and public defenders with the resources that they need to adequately process cases and give defendants fair and timely criminal trials, then there is a question as to whether we're really respecting the right to a speedy trial.
1,205 days after Ralph Berry was arrested, the police finally used the DNA evidence they'd found so long ago, and the man who really committed the crime was sent to Rikers Island. After more than 3 years in prison, Ralph Berry was set free. He was 22 years old.
I hope somebody do pay for this. I hope somebody do, but at the end of the day, I look at it like what they're gonna pay with. I can't get that time back.
Also, one thing I wanna put in there, part of this video, I think is propaganda, for the simple fact that number one, people seem to forget that if you get a public defender like they were promoting here, they will waive your right to a speedy trial, which is maybe why this poor young guy cannot file a lawsuit, because you do not have a right to a speedy trial if you waive it or if your public defender waives it. Hence, you're screwed. Because if this man really got his right to speedy trial violated, then I believe something would be happening by now. But he had a public defender, and 9 times out of 10, public defenders will waive your right to a speedy trial, because they say that if they feel you're guilty, they can push it back so that witnesses can be lost, memories can fade, and then you can kind of use that as some sort of defense, which is somewhat true, but if you're innocent, that would be a terrible tactic. Thanks for watching, guys, and please let me know what you guys think. I will post the link in the description box. Godspeed.